Hey, welcome to the Explainer. So today we are tackling something that I think pretty much every single one of us struggles with, procrastination. We're going to dive into the psychology of why we do it and, more importantly, what we can actually do to stop, all based on some really fantastic research from Dr. Timothy Pychyl.
All right, let's just kick things off with a question that might, hit a little close to home. Are you watching this right now to put off doing something else? Go on, be honest. If the answer is yes, hey, don't even worry about it. You are in exactly the right place. We're about to make this little break incredibly useful.
First things first, we've got to completely reframe what procrastination really is. It's kind of like a puzzle, and the biggest piece people get wrong is thinking it's just about being lazy. It's not. It's actually a much more complex and active thing that's going on in our brains. So let's really break down the official definition here. You've got to notice those key words. It's a voluntary delay. That means you choose to do it. And you do it even though you know deep down it's going to make things worse later. This isn't just taking a strategic pause to get more info. Nope. This is a specific, needless, and, let's face it, self-defeating choice. And that choice, believe me, has some very real consequences. Procrastination isn't harmless. Research shows it leads to, poor work, obviously, but the damage goes way deeper. It skyrockets our stress levels, which can actually mess with our immune system. We put off really important stuff like going to the doctor or getting some exercise. And at the end of the day, we're just throwing away time, the one thing we can never, ever get back.
So if we know it's so bad for us, why on earth do we keep doing it? Well, the answer is kind of a sneaky psychological trap. It's all about trying to feel good right now.
See, at its very heart, procrastination is just a breakdown in our self-control. It's this constant battle between what we know we should do and what we feel like doing in the moment. And the reason we lose that battle so often? It's surprisingly simple. This phrase right here, this is the key to the whole puzzle. Dr. Pychyl argues that the main fight is against this urge for what he calls immediate mood repair. When a task makes us feel bad, anxious, bored, whatever, we put it off. Why? For that quick hit of relief. We're basically trading our long-term goals just to feel better for a few minutes. We're giving in to feel good. And this brings us to this idea of task aversiveness. That's just the fancy psychological term for all those yucky feelings a task can bring up. Boredom, anxiety, feeling insecure, frustration. So get this. Procrastination isn't really about avoiding the work itself. It's about avoiding the bad feelings that come with the work. It's like an emotional escape hatch. So how do we justify pulling that escape hatch over and over? Well, our brains tell us a very convenient, very powerful, and let's be real, a very common lie. Does that sound familiar? Oh yeah, we've all said it. We invent this mythical future version of ourselves, this amazing person who's going to be super motivated, full of energy, and just ready to crush that task that our present self is running away from. But here comes the hard truth, and it's backed by a ton of research. That motivated, future version of you probably isn't showing up. And that's not me being a pessimist. It's just a fundamental mistake our brains make when they try to predict our own emotions. Okay, so the scientific term for this is affective forecasting, and it turns out we are terrible at it. We suffer from this bias called presentism. We basically think that how we feel right now is how we're going to feel later. So when we put something off, we feel relief in this moment, and we trick ourselves into thinking we'll feel just as good or even better when it's time to do it tomorrow, but we won't. Okay, so if we can't trust our future selves to magically be motivated, what's the single most powerful thing we can do, right here, right now? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple. That's it. 3 simple words. The most powerful weapon you have against procrastination is to just begin. Forget about finishing it. Forget about making it perfect. The only goal is start. But why does this work so incredibly well? Well, a few things happen. First, just starting changes how you see the task. The research is clear. Once we actually start doing something, we find it's way less awful than we imagined. Second, any progress, even the tiniest bit, gives you a genuine mood boost, which then fuels more action. It creates momentum. And maybe most importantly, it proves to you that you don't actually need to feel like doing something to do it. Action can come first, and the motivation will often follow. Okay, so just get started is our mantra. That's the foundation. But what other tools can we put in our toolkit to keep that momentum going and turn it into a real habit?
All right, one of the best tools out there is what psychologists call an implementation intention, but let's just call it an if-then plan. You're basically making the decision ahead of time. You link a specific cue to a specific action. For example, if I finish my morning coffee, then I will open that report and write just one sentence. It automates the process, so you don't have to rely on willpower in that tough moment.
And the reason that strategy is so brilliant is because it saves you a really precious resource, your willpower. A lot of research shows that willpower isn't infinite. It actually works like a muscle. It gets tired and worn out as you use it all day. That's why it's so hard to tackle a big project at night after a long, stressful day. Your willpower muscle is exhausted.
So knowing that your willpower is like a battery, you've got to protect it and recharge it. Getting enough sleep, that's non-negotiable for recharging your self-control. Using those if-then plans we talked about, that helps you save your battery for when you really need it. Even getting a quick mood boost from something positive can help. And this one might surprise you, so can your blood sugar. A simple piece of fruit can literally restore the energy your brain needs for self-regulation.
So let's bring this all home. Procrastination isn't some deep character flaw. It's an emotional regulation problem. We do it to dodge bad feelings, and we tell ourselves this whole myth about tomorrow. The real solution is to short-circuit that whole cycle by just getting started, by using smart tools like if-then plans, and by actively managing our willpower. So that brings us to the final and most important question. What is the one tiny, ridiculously small first step you can take on that thing you've been avoiding the second this is over? Don't even think about finishing it. Just think about starting.